The battle for Donbas has begun. Moscow has launched dozens of airstrikes across East Ukraine. Fighting is raging on, and Ukraine says it will not give up.
We can now confirm that Russian troops have begun the battle for the Donbas, which they have been preparing for a long time. A large part of the Russian army is now dedicated to this offensive. No matter how many Russian soldiers are brought here, we will fight. We will defend ourselves. We will do it daily. We will not give up anything Ukrainian, and we do not need what's not ours.
Now, according to Russia, high-precision air-based missiles had hit 13 Ukrainian positions, while other airstrikes have hit 60 military assets, including in towns close to the eastern front line. Russia's Sergei Lavrov has called it another phase of the Russian operation in Ukraine, calling it a very important moment since the invasion began in February. Moscow also seized its first town after unleashing thousands of troops. However, Ukrainian officials insist that their troops will withstand the new assault. The control of Donbas is crucial for Russia. It would allow Moscow to create a southern corridor to Crimea and also deprive Ukraine of much of its coastline and a major revenue resource.
На території Донецької та Луганської областей захисниками України за минулу добу відбито 7 атак ворога. Знищено 10 танків, 18 одиниць броньованої та 8 одиниць автомобільної техніки, 1 артилерійську систему, а також міномет противника з розрахунком.
Donbas is Ukraine's mostly Russian-speaking industrial heartland in the east. It has been a breakaway region since 2014, functioning independent of Ukraine. Moscow-backed rebels have been fighting Ukrainian forces here for the past 8 years. Earlier, Putin recognized the republics of Donetsk and Luhansk here as independent. These regions do not have borders. They have a conflict line. To the west is territory under Kyiv. To the east is rebel land. Remember, this is the conflict line. The rebels actually claim a lot more territory that is now under Kyiv's control. Meanwhile, U.S. is sending more military aid to help the Ukrainian forces. The first shipments of a new $800 million aid package has arrived at Ukraine's borders. Moscow has instead blamed the West for pushing Ukraine to fight on.
Соединенные Штаты Америки и подконтрольные западные страны делают все, чтобы максимально затянуть специальную военную операцию. Нарастающие объемы поставок иностранного вооружения наглядно демонстрируют их намерения.
While much of the focus remained on the east, Moscow also targeted the country's west. On Monday, airstrikes killed at least 7 people near the city of Lviv, which has largely been spared bombardment since Russia invaded on February 24th. The city in western Ukraine and its surroundings had become a haven for those seeking safety. But now it looks like the entire country is being bombarded by airstrikes. And for more on this, we are being joined by Tanya Kozyreva, who is an investigative journalist from Dnipro, Ukraine. Tanya, welcome to WION.
Good evening.
What's happening in the Donbas region? What are you hearing? What do we know so far?
Well, the situation here is very complicated. The situation in Donbas. We were a couple of days ago. We were in. We were on the north of the region, the Donetsk Oblast, near Slovyansk and Kramatorsk, two cities where Donetsk self-proclaimed republic started 8 years ago, where this conflict basically started 8 years ago. And it's very close to the front line. It's like 50 kilometers away from the heavy battles in Izum, which is the city in Kharkivska Oblast, and the city which is like basically holding this line. But the people in Kramatorsk and Slovyansk, they are very concerned because they have heard from the Russian media that Russian military is planning to surrender those cities. So most of the population left, only 30% of them left. So if you will go to those streets, you will see like the deserted streets, like with no people. There are elder people who, mostly elder people, stayed, and like the shops mostly empty, you know, and like pharmacies are closed. So it is, the situation is like there is very complicated because you know, the mayor, we spoke to him and he's saying that if the situation will be like in Mariupol, then all those elder people will not have the access to food and medicine, you know.
Right.
And many of them have chronic diseases. So they're very much concerned about this. And while we were there, there was, you know, there was a heavy shelling. So we were basically forced to go to the bomb shelter every like 2 hours or something. So the situation in those cities are very intense. And today we went to a small village called Piski. It's basically 10 kilometers away from the city of Donetsk, and this is the front line, basically. And we spoke with the Ukrainian fighters there, who told us that that the situation is very intense, that they're shelled constantly. And we were witness of one of those heavy shelling, you know. So we were hiding in the bunker, and the artillery was landing very close to us. So it's like it was very intense today. And they're saying that last 3 days the situation is like they feel that the situation is like getting worse and worse. And what they also highlighted that they have a lack of weapon. They have no weapon to basically to resist this big, you know, a big offensive action that is definitely in the plans of Russian Federation.
Tanya, let me ask you, in your opinion, how important is the battle for Donbas in this ongoing war?
This is something that Putin is saying, like he was saying this from the very beginning. President of Russian Federation, Volodymyr Putin, he was claiming that this is special operation of liberating of Donbas people, you know, but in reality, it looks like many of them are leaving the territory just to escape of this offensive, you know, and Russian cruelty, basically. You know, we all saw the pictures from Irpin and Bucha, Kyiv region, where Russian troops spent like 3 weeks, where you know, many civilians were just, you know, tortured and raped, and many kids were killed. So I can tell you that nobody, like none of the people that we spoke to, want to live under the Russian occupation, and many of them just, you know, afraid of any kind of scenarios like that. So that most of them are leaving, although the situation with evacuation is very intense, because as you know, that the train station in Kramatorsk was targeted by a rocket. So there was more than 50 dead people there. Like the rocket landed while people were trying to evacuate, while they were trying to take this evacuation train. So many of people right now, they're scared of evacuation, just because, you know, the buses with the people are targeted by missiles, the evacuation train targeted by rockets. So it's really horrible. Like the evacuation like 1 week ago was very intense. Right now, people they're afraid to move. You know, they're like most of them in their own cars. Some of them evacuating still, like they're evacuating by buses. There is only one train station left in the region, which is like providing the evacuation trains. So Pokrovsk is the only basically train station which evacuating people every day. Right now they have only one evacuation day train during the day, but 1 week ago there was like five 5 trains during the day, and it was like all of them were full.
Okay. I've been talking to investigative journalist from Dnipro, Ukraine. Her name is Tanya Kozyreva. Thank you very much for making time and for talking to WION today.
Sure, no problem.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.